So, welcome to the latest episode of The Main Cut. I'm your host, Jade, and I'm really excited today to be with our guest, Sadja Monet, who has been a hairstylist for over a decade, working with celebrities on editorial, commercials. Not to mention, she's also the owner of her own salon and the founder of BeUtiful Extensions hairline. So today we're really grateful to have her with us, sharing not just her story, but bits of wisdom too. So Sadja, welcome. We're really excited to have you here today.
Thank you so much, Jade. I appreciate that. And yes, guys, it's me, Sadja Monet, celebrity hairstylist from the Poconos.
No, we're so excited. And one of the things that I love about these conversations is hearing about people's stories of how they came to be. So, it'd be great if you could start by telling us a bit about your journey to hairstyling and where it all started.
Okay, this story for me is like touching and like really, of course it's personal for me, but it really hits because me growing up, I always seen my aunt, Auntie Tara. She always had the latest hairstyles. I mean, like the freeze styles where you could knock on her head and then it was nice and hard. And she was like, she calls me Sorty. She's like, Sorty, get out of here. Like, what are you doing? I just got my hair done. And we'll always laugh, but I was always fascinated with her hair. And she had this dresser that had like full of nail polish and just like, she was just, my whole family comes from beauty. Like, they always, but like, it was just always presentable with her. And from there, it's like, oh, I'm interested in hair. Like, how do you do that? How do you get that freeze style? How does it stay? How did she change her color and she's back black the next day? Like, it was always, it was always tricky as a kid. So, I started looking into it more and more. I was not the girly type, but I did like that stuff. So my parents, I'm originally from Staten Island, and my parents moved to the Poconos in PA. And in their high school, they have a program called MCTI, a VOTEC school. So I was able to try to apply my ninth grade year, but I got denied to go to cosmetology. And I was like, like everyone, like my dad and everyone's like, you got to go focus on college, focus on school. And I'm just like, well, I'm good at it, but I don't really want to do that. So from there, I got denied. And then the middle of 10th grade year, someone actually dropped out. And then it gave me a position to go in. So I was able to do the VOTEC school in cosmetology my 10th, 11th, and 12th year. Graduated from high school with my cosmetology license, like literally, or, go out and get your, start working hands on. So it started from there. And I had a mentor, which the Poconos, it's not like an urban built area at all. When I was younger, I actually had locks too. But when we were in the Poconos, there was nobody to do my mother's and my locks. So we used to do it on each other. So that used to frustrate me a lot. So I was just like, they need someone up here in the Poconos to do our kind of, make no sense. And my senior year, I actually cut my hair off. I cut my locks off. And I had, when I was in MCTI, Tisha McDonald, who was my mentor. She became my mentor, but when she came, she specialized in natural hair care. And I was so mad. She'll tell you to this day, I'm like crossing my arms and I was like, oh, decided to come to the Poconos after I cut my locks off. And she liked this day. And she came to teach a class there. And after class, I went up to her. I'm just like, listen, I want where you at? You have a hair salon. You own your hair salon. You specialize in natural hair care. That's exactly what I want to do, because in the school, they didn't really touch natural hair care. They touched the cornrow, but at that point, I actually had to teach the class how to cornrow.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And I had to teach them how, because everyone knew how to French braid and everything, but they never knew how to cornrow. So I taught the class how to, and I was just like, yeah, I'm going to need a mentor because even though I know how to do our hair,
Mm.
I don't know anything. I'm just fresh out of high school. I really don't know. So Tisha was able to take me under her wing, and she taught me everything. I was like, I walked up to her. I'm like, I want to work for you. What do I need to do to work for you? And she was like, be here at such and such time, this date. She didn't think I was gonna come. I walked right into her salon. She was like, "Oh, you really came?" I'm like, "Yep." Yep, a 17-year-old girl. So she didn't think that I was really serious. But from there, I've been working with her. During that time, I worked with her up until I got pregnant with my first child. And I was with her for I'm gonna say 6 years.
Oh, that's amazing. You went for your mentor, at the age of 17. That's a big deal, feeling like you knew that that was what you wanted to do to the point that you felt that you could go to her and ask that question.
Yes, and it was kind of scary at the same time because she has been in it for so long. So it's like it's a good thing, but it's kind of intimidating. When you're young, it's like, oh, I want to be there. I want to be where
Mm.
she's, but how do I actually approach her? Maybe I'm not good enough yet. So how is she gonna
Mm.
let? And that wasn't the case at all. Tisha was the one who really showed me everything. I was open to her. I told her, I was like, I want to work for you, but I do want to own my own salon. The end goal is for me to own my,
Mm.
and she took that in. Like it wasn't like a, oh, so you want to work with me just to collect information. It was no problem. Like, okay, let me show you the ins and outs. And, even though I wanted to learn natural hair care and that's where she provided, she also knew I loved making wigs. She knew I loved making, like, changing up colors and doing different things. So, and what I appreciate about her, she didn't stop me just because
Mm.
she hair care salon. She'll be like, okay, we're gonna learn this, but we're gonna take a trip to Bronner Brothers. And I was like, I always want to go to Bronner Brothers because the underguard hair, the craziness is like that was exciting. She wasn't interested in that, but she helped me go, and we all went as a salon so that
Mm.
I was able to learn the tricks and trades. So that's a good mentor, especially at a young age. I'm still a sponge, and she was
Mm.
guiding and helping me to do that. So I appreciate that.
No, I mean, that's something for all stylists to think about actually when they're in the process of thinking about, okay, where do I want to be in 5, 6, 7, 8 years' time? And who can I learn from? It's not just who can you learn from, it's also what makes a good mentor. Because you have a good mentor, they kick open the doors for you. They don't shut them in front of you.
Exactly. And the mentorship, when you find the right person, it's not only about mentorship, it's really about family. She's the godmother of my first child. Like, we're still close. I still have a key to her shop. Like, the love never stops. It wasn't like no bad blood. Even when I did
Mm.
get, if she's booked, she'll send me clients or vice versa.
Mm.
This, I'd be like, hey, T, you can do this, or they're about. She sent me one last night, like, hey, I got someone coming to you next week. I'd be like, oh, okay, thank you. Like, and we're only about 20 minutes away from each other.
Okay.
So it's not like
Yeah.
how people is a competition. Like, oh no, I'm not gonna send this person because they're gonna take it.
Mm.
It's not that at all. It's not that. If she needs help in the shop and I'm not working at the shop, hey, you want me to come down? You want me to do a braid down? Oh, okay.
Mm.
It's vice versa. She visits me, and if I'm on a client, she's supposed to be visiting me, but she's hopping on that, like, she's work, and I'm just like, okay, we're chatting at the same time.
No, I love that because I feel like we need more of that energy in our community anyway. Like, especially where like those relationships between stylists and the relationship also between stylists and customers feels a bit broken right now. So, when people can see that and they can hear, that amazing relationship that you have with your mentor, that's something for them to aspire to. And it just helps make helps make the industry go around in such a better way.
Yeah, there's enough to go around.
Hmm.
Honestly, it doesn't have to be a competition.
Hmm.
Um, say like what competition? And it wasn't like to be like it wasn't to be arrogant or nothing, but it's just like what competition because everyone has a hairstylist for them. I
Hmm.
can I can be good at braiding and I know what I'm doing, but it
Hmm.
doesn't only on the technique, it's the personal connection that you have with your client too. So maybe our energies don't align. I do great braids or locks,
Yeah.
but our energy doesn't align. And that's okay. Like it's not a
Mm.
problem. You have a better connection with someone else, and that's why you attend to their shop. So that's why I was like, there's no competition. It's really a personal preference. This is the
Yeah.
person you have to trust that's going to be over your head. You're
Mm.
giving time, your energy, and your money. So you got to be comfortable and not just because I'm sitting in your chair.
Yeah. No,
You know?
that's true. That's something that I think all people need to think about. And like for the like the customers listening, what are some of the things that you think they should look out for in like a good stylist?
Okay. And please don't take no offense, other hairstylists. So I feel like we shouldn't hide our products. We
Mm.
shouldn't speak because if you're really confident and you know what you're doing, my hands is not your hands. Jade,
Mm.
I can twist in your hair and show you
Mm.
you still may not twist it correctly. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
it's a certain technique in how you do things. So I feel like if you see a stylist that's always hiding stuff, or the stylist that turns your chair so you can't see, like
Yeah.
surprise. I get that whole surprise thing, but at the same time, if you really trying to fight me, like on the chair, like um, just personally that, or watch out for the biggest thing is a stylist who don't educate you.
Yeah.
Because I tell my clients all the time, I like seeing y'all come. I really do. But I love to see y'all leave. And I love not to see you so often. Because if I see you
Mm.
not in the time frames that you're supposed to come, then something went wrong. There's a hiccup there. And I want you to be able, and I say it all the time, not to just be funny or not. I don't like taking y'all money. What meaning I'm not going to book a service for you and it's not necessary. And
Yeah.
I get about money, your income. Yes, but at the same time, you can help your clients out and tell them what they can actually do at home that will save them the extra income, and let them make that choice. Like, you know what? I know I can wash my hair at home, but I like the way you do it. Okay, let them make that choice and that up service. Don't be so heavy just because you want to make a sale, or you know what I'm saying? Like, teach the client how to tend to their hair correctly because there's going to be less work for you when they get into the shop. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And also it just means that when customers come back, they value that relationship so much more. Like the stylists that have taught me things are the ones that I'll go back to time and time again. Like, and if they're like, oh, you know what? I can't do that style, I'll be like, okay, that's fine. But when I need to do this thing again, I'm coming back to you.
It's building trust. Again, you're in
Yeah.
my personal space. I'm in your personal space. I'm doing your crown. I'm doing your hair. I'm something that means so much to you. So if you don't trust me,
Mm.
what's really going on? It's not going to work. It really isn't going to work. You're going to be in the chair like, shaky, looking at me sideways, and I'm probably looking at you sideways like, what you looking at me like that for? But
But there are so many people that have those bad experiences that lead to them doing that. And sometimes it's not even about the stylist that's doing their hair now. It's about the stylist that did their hair a year ago, or 2 years ago, or whenever that really bad experience happened. And then that means that people just look at stylists, like you said, look at them sideways from
Mhm.
that point onwards because they're like, I need to know what's going on.
No,
I need to feel comfortable.
absolutely. I have a client and she's so funny. She would jump before I even get to her with the flat iron. And I'm like, baby, it's not even it's I didn't even put it to your scalp yet. And she was like, I know. And she's like holding her ear real tight. I'm like, I'm at the back of your head. I'm not even at your ear yet. She's like, oh. And she's like, my mama scarred me. And I'm like, I get it. And like, and I get it. I get those things, but that's where a good hairstylist builds that trust again. Like it might be an issue from that client, but you gotta like, hey, I got you. Like, that's not gonna be me. Okay, we're gonna do baby steps. Hold your ear when I actually get to your ear, not your neck. Like, you know.
Bit by bit we get there. But no, I love all of that advice. That's really relevant for both stylists and customers that are listening. But I would love you to talk us through a typical day in the life of Sadja. Like, what do you do when you're out there, when you're either on those shoots, you're in your salon, what do you love most about your job?
Um, ooh, I honestly love the travel, and as I love getting to know new people. That is that's the fun part because everyone on set or at a photo shoot, anything, it's definitely different from a hair salon. It's like, so the hair salon is like I kind of know people or they know of me because I'm in the area. So we have similar situations. But when you're on set, you're meeting a whole nother different, you know, area of people, you know. So I love doing that the most because then you get to talk. They
Mhm.
get to their experience. They get to give you the knowledge, like, oh, you know, when I first started, and there's some heavy hitters, and it's just like, ooh, give me some jewels. Give me like, you know, what should I do on this? Then what should I do with that? You know, it's very fulfilling. Even if it's just like, you know, it is long days. Sometimes, you know, 12, 14 hours, you know, it gets long. Um, but it's long in hours, but it's not long mentally because you're having fun. You are seeing your idea and the creative side, so it's very exciting. You get to see your work hands on, you know, but I would just basically say that's the best part of it. And meeting, like I said, meeting new people. I'm gonna double back around for the mentor because Tisha was my first, but I have gotten great mentors over the time now that's in a different level. So she was my mentor when it came down to the salons, but Darius Thompson, he has been my mentor. He's the one who helped me get into actually celebrity hair. Um, Yusuf Williams, he's my mentor. Kendall Dorsey, he's my mentor. And these are all people who are far from me, but they're very active
Yeah.
in career right now. Like they would tell me what I need to do, how to do it, how to go about it. And I appreciate them. And I always say, no matter how far you get in your career, you should always still have a mentor on where you want to be in the future. You should never stop.
Yeah, there's always somebody who's doing the thing that you want to do, and those are the ones you should be learning from. You don't want to be the smartest or most knowledgeable person in any room.
Oh, teach me.
No, I love that, and you're living that dream that there are so many stylists that aspire to, being able to do the commercials, do the editorials, work with celebrities, but you are also running your own salon. That's a lot. That's that's a lot. So it would be great to know, how did you first break into that side of the industry?
Which industry? The hair salon or the editorial?
Editorial first.
Editorial first. So as I mentioned, I at first I was I'm freelance, but
Mhm.
what happened was with my hair hairline, beautiful hairline, I was doing it on my own. And so I would go into Instagram and go into people's DMs and be like, hey guys, I got a great hairline. Do you want some samples and all that extra stuff? Never be shy to go in somebody's DMs, okay, when it comes down to business. Never be shy. You might hear a no, but you're gonna hear like 3 yeses. So I was doing that, and there was a lady who she was like I guess a promoter. I
Yeah.
don't want to say the wrong title, but she was doing management on something like that. And I had worked with her one time previously in Atlanta at one of the shows, and she liked my work, she liked my energy, so she had contacted me last minute, and she was like, "Hey, I know you're launching your new hairline," because she was the one I actually sent in a DM to let her know, like, "Hey, I'm promoting my hairline." So she contacted me 2 months later, and she's like, "I know you're doing a hairline. I was wondering if you could make a custom unit for me for a worker for Love and Hip Hop." And I was like, "Oh, okay." You're like, "When? When do you need it?" She's like, tomorrow." It was like, it was very short notice, and it was bundles. Like they wanted 40 inches on one, and the next and a nice short bob, and it was like last minute that I had to make these units. So I'm like, I'm up for the challenge. Yeah, no problem.
Mm.
And I was gonna send it down from somebody else because I was in Poconos and they were in Jersey at the time. So I was like, okay, well, I'll drive it down. I'll personally drive it down so they can know who is the person behind the brand.
Yeah.
So I drove it down, and at that time, I was like, in my head, I was like, why they didn't ask me to style? Like, I'm a hairstylist, but they only just wanted the wigs. So I'm like, okay, no problem. I drove it down, and I met Darius, and he was the hairstylist, and his energy was just so great. Like I got there, I showed him the unit, and he was like, "Work! Oh yes, you did this," and I was just like, "Yeah, I did it," And at that time, I didn't know who he was, or that was my time just meeting him. So we exchanged information. He was like, "Okay, I'm keeping you updated if I need wigs and units and bundles." I'm like, "Okay, cool." And I was on Instagram, and it was like weeks later. I was on Instagram, and I seen him post a hair assistant needed in New York. So
Ah.
straight into his DMs. Once again, I'm proud of the DMs. I went straight there. I was like, "Hey, if you needed help, you could always ask me." And he was like, "Oh, I thought you just made units. I didn't know you was a hairstylist." And I was like, "Yeah."
Ah.
And he was like, "Work." Like, "Okay, cool. Like, I'm gonna jump on board." So he gives me the information, and at this time, this is my first editorial situation, first time doing real work in New York City at this point. And he's like, "Okay, well, here's the breakdown. This is what you need, the your kit, blah blah blah." I'm like, "Okay, still don't really know what I'm doing. I'm just going for it. I don't like hairstylist in the salon. I got it. This life, I'm like, wait, an email for what? A call sheet for what? Wait. I thought I was just coming at. I don't know what's going on here." And he was like, he walked me through everything step by step. And he was like, "Oh, we're going to do Oscar de la Renta photo shoot." And I'm not gonna tell my age, but I'm gonna tell my age in the story. So in my head, I'm like, "Ooh, fancy name, but who is Oscar de la Renta?" I don't even know if I'm saying the name right. Like, I had no idea. So he's like, "Girl, you don't know it. Go ahead and Google." So I Googled it, and I was like, I seen like first the perfume, and I was like, "Oh my God, I used to wear that." Like, that's like what it hit me to right there. So we get to New York, and it was at the Grand Station, and it was like a big, huge setup. And in my head, before going there, I thought it was just like a little photo shoot. Like, I didn't think it was like they had cameras all over the place. They had like setup was crazy. It was like
Mhm.
the biggest photo shoot I have ever done. And I used to do little photo shoots at, I shouldn't say little, but I used to do photo shoots in the Poconos, but it was just us in the shop. Like, it was playful. So when I got here, my eyes was open like, what is going on? Like, me? I'm helping him with this? And it was like a great experience. After that, I just been working with him since. He introduced me to Yusuf Williams. And he was like, I'm going to introduce you to the dad of the group. Like, he's Papa Bear of the group. And I was just like,
Oh,
who? I'm like, who? He was like, if he likes you and he takes you under your wing, you're going to be good. Like, you're going to learn everything that you need to learn. And I was just like, okay. At that point, I know I'm going to get, oh, I didn't know who Yusuf was either. So now I'm like, let me look up Yusuf. I looked him up and I'm like, oh, Brianna's hairstylist. I did not know at the time. And then it was just like, for me, I feel like it was perfect time and place that God placed me into just meeting these people. I had no, like, really genuine. Like, you know how sometimes people look up people and they know who they are already and then they try to work with them because of who they are.
yeah.
It wasn't that. It was like literally, oh, hey, hi, what's up? Oh yeah, you want to work? And then afterwards, after you get booked for the job, you actually see who these people are, and it's just like, oh, it was a blessing. Thank you.
Well, I love that. It feels like it was a really organic experience, which is those are some of the best ones because you were there and then you realized how special it was when you were there.
Yeah, right when I was there, it was so crazy, and Darius laughed at me. He was like, "Girl, you act like you never seen all this before." I'm like, no, I haven't. Like, again, I'm a girl from the Poconos, a small town. Okay, everybody knows everybody. This this is different from me.
This is new. And like when it came to the salon, how did you manage to balance that with the celebrity clients, the commercials, the editorials? Because that's a different set of timelines. You could be flying here, there, and everywhere.
I'm gonna say it sounds real hood, but shout out to my clients, okay? Shout out to y'all. I love y'all because honestly, I couldn't do it unless I had a strong team behind me. And in my shop, it's only me. I guys, I'm looking for help. I'm looking for dedicated workers. Poconos. I'm looking. But all jokes aside, I'm by myself in the shop, so
Mhm.
it's definitely a challenging situation because my clients, I talk to them. Like I said, it's the personal relationship. So I let them know every step that I'm about to do because before I went full time, excuse me, before I went full time, I was in the medical field. So I used to balance working at the hospital and then
Mhm.
on top before editorial even came to play. So already then I'm like, okay, maybe after work, after 5 o'clock and my weekends I could do. But then I was like, no, this is not my passion. I want to do hair. I want to focus on hair. But I was very scared to focus on hair because everyone knows it's not a secret. The income goes up and down, dry seasons. You don't know because your income is off of your clients. If your clients don't want to come, who you gonna do? Like, you
Mhm.
make money. So I was very nervous, and I have two little ones. So it's just like it's not just me; it's me and my little ones. I have to provide for. So after a while, I was just like, no, I'm gonna go gun home, just hair. So I talked to my clients like, hey guys, I'm gonna be here, but this big opportunity came, so I'll be doing editorial here in the city. So I have to learn how to go back and forth. So when
Right.
my book started going good with the city, I would let them know like, hey, if I do have to cancel your appointment or reschedule, it's either I'm going to do it the day before your appointment that you wanted, or I'm going to schedule you right after. Like, I'm just not going to let you out to dry, and I'll give you that
Mhm.
option. And so many times where I had to do that, and they were okay with it. Like, it was not like, "Ugh, here she go again." Like, it was like, Go ahead, baby. Go ahead, knock it out. Like from older clients to young clients, everyone understood the assignment and everyone was working. And because of that, there's sometimes I'll do just randomly. I'll be like, hey, a free service, or I'll do my raffles, and here's free bundles or a unit or giveaway,
Mm,
because my clients help me out, so I'm gonna do the same thing for them. It's just random. If I'm helping you, help me, and that's how we're gonna go. So they are understanding. My new clients, I do put in my bio, you know, just in case you want to book with me, that's great. But there's times where I may have to cancel, and I'll
mm,
let them know time so if they even want to work with me or not, because some people may not understand that. But
yeah.
one thing I can't do is stop my dream and my work. I need people on board who's going to balance that out with me and who's going to understand as my clients. So that's how it's been working.
No, that makes sense. But also what people probably appreciate is the transparency, right? You give them the option. You've told them up front, I'm going to be traveling. There are big jobs that are coming up and people will support you. And if they actually, if it's like a last minute thing, it's like, oh no, I really need to get my hair done. I'll go to somebody else this time, but you told me. That makes a world of difference because everybody knows where they stand.
Exactly. There's no, back and forth. No, I'm going to cut and dry in a sweet way. So you guys know to do the same thing with me too.
Yeah, and that makes, like I say, that makes a huge difference to the relationship you have with your clients. And like, there are so many people that aspire to own a salon one day. It feels like there's two big things that I hear stylists say. It's either they want to work with celebrities, they want to be on those editorials, doing those photo shoots, or they want to own a salon. They want it to be their own. So for those who want the salon, for those that's their big dream, what are some of the big things that you had to consider before you opened up?
Make sure you have a great support team, a support system, and not only just, in the salon, because you might have to handle the salon by yourself for a few years. I've been working at my shop. My shop has been open for 6 years, and I have not had a stable second stylist or nothing. Not even a receptionist. So I've been doing everything my own. I'm my own receptionist, the stylist, the janitor, the like, like so I would say be mindful that you might be the only one in that shop for a very long time. You might have a thought like, hey, well, I'm gonna get somebody in here by next month and we could do this. Think past that. Think if you can handle that on your own. Think if your finances, you know, there's slow months. Every hairstylist knows there's slow times. Are you able to balance your rents, your booth rent, whatever it is, your electric, your products? Are you able to balance all of that before you make that big step? I don't discourage anyone. If that's your dream, opening up a shop, go for it. The only thing that could happen is it didn't go far or it didn't make. But that's not
Mm.
even so that's a life lesson, and you can do it again and see what you did wrong the first time and execute it the second. I would never discourage anyone. I know when I opened up my shop, I was doing a grand opening, and in my head, I had a vision of like, oh, all these hairstylists, let's come together, let's welcome me into the team. And there was a couple like, why are you opening? It's too much for you.
Oh.
Work in my shop. And it was just like a shade, palm tree. Like, no,
Mm.
I should be encouraging that a young woman is coming into the industry and wants to strive for something. So me feeling that, definitely I would never come out my mouth and be like, don't do it. Go ahead. What you need help with? Want me to send you some clients? Um, you know, what can I do to help the situation? Because I did not like that. Personally, I did not like that feeling. And it never happened. It didn't happen to me prior. When my mentor with Tisha, I didn't experience that. So I would not want anyone to experience that. But I would say do correct preparation. Just don't jump into something head first And I feel like, no shade, but I feel like this generation is like, they don't want to learn. They don't want to do the baby steps first. They don't want to do the shampoo bowl. They don't want to do the runs. They don't want to do just the braid down. I feel like it's more so, oh, okay, I learned it on YouTube. I took a couple of classes. I'm ready for the whole big shop.
Mm.
I don't think that's the best way. And again, I'm not discouraging anyone not to open. I just say put your time in, put your practice, learn the industry in and out, and then go ahead and shoot for it.
Yeah. No, I mean, it's the same with any business. You're so much better off when you've learned what it feels like on the inside before you run off and do it yourself. Because then you can learn from the mistakes that you see and from the incidents that you see as well. Like customer service is a huge one. You get to see that inside out when you're working.
Okay, yes. Like there's things that like school they teach you about. Okay, but the real life situations, that's the real teacher right there. Like you can't. I remember I did this horrible cut, horrible cut. It made me say I would never cut again. And this is when I was working. I was young. I just came out of high school, and I was working with my mentor and at the shop. And again, school cutting, real life cutting, different shapes of the head from a mannequin head is totally different. And baby, I'm sorry, I apologize right now. No names, but you know who you are. I chopped her hair. Like it was so bad. To this day, I be like, dang, I hope I don't see her because she probably think I don't know how to do hair, but I promise you, I got way better, but those are the experiences that I'm saying. Like I could laugh about it now, but let's say you just came out of school and you want to open up your own shop. You didn't even really experience them chops. And for someone to be right behind you and able to clean it up. Thank God I had my mentor near me because, she had to go through it and clean it up. But with in a shop by yourself, who you gonna go to?
Yeah,
Who
just you.
exactly? And you're fresh. You don't know better.
No, so and having that safe space to make mistakes is a very big deal at the beginning of any stylist's career. Like it sounds like you were very fortunate not just to have like a mentor who welcomed you, but also allowed you to make those mistakes and was happy to step in and be like, okay, I can fix this. She's learning. I'm going to give her some grace and have some patience and allow her to learn,
Mm-hmm. Yes.
That,
Yes.
it's a huge, huge thing to have. And I think it's something that not everybody has, for one, and not everybody thinks they need. Like you
Mm-hmm.
said, it's the rush to go from 0 to 100. You have to climb the stairs slowly sometimes.
Absolutely. And I'm like, I'm seasoned. I feel like I could say I earned the word seasoned. And I'm like, ooh, I just learned something. Oh, wait, how'd you do that? Wait, no, do that real quick again. Let me see how you do that. And it's always a constant learning situation. And I don't feel like anyone's going to get far if you got the attitude of, I know how to do it. I know how to do it. You thought you know how to do it because nowadays everything's switched. A new trend is gonna be out by the time I sneeze. Like it's it's really, you don't know. So if you miss that whole TikTok or you miss that time, you just miss how to learn it. And then when somebody comes in and be like, okay, so don't say you know how to do everything because you don't know how to do it. I don't.
Yeah.
Well, Sadja Monet don't know how to do everything. Okay.
It takes the humbleness and the humility to say that. I don't know everything, but I'm open to learning. That's a very big thing for everyone throughout like their whole career.
Yes. And honestly, and I feel like for advice for people who want to get into the industry, celebrity hair, editorial hair,
Mm.
be open to starting from scratch again. So for me, it's like I have my shop. I've been working in the industry for a while at that time with the salon and everything, but I had to start from scratch when it came down to the editorial and celebrity hair. I'm sitting there, I'm the assistant, and you have to be okay to being the assistant. You have to be okay handing a brush or a comb, picking up. You got to be okay doing that because, again, you're learning how to do things differently from where you were coming from. If I'm in the shop, I have a good 2 hours to do a hair. I got my time. Hee hee ha ha. You're on set to do a style that you got in 2 hours. Like, well, you had time for. So no, you have to learn how to finagle it, how to make it look. So you're gonna tell me because you think you know everything, you could go in and doing that? No, be okay being an assistant and taking things at the bottom so you could work your way up to the top.
Yeah.
That's okay.
Yeah, there's nothing wrong with that. And that will probably save you a lot of time making mistakes, especially in those settings where, it's a bit more cutthroat. You make a mistake on a shoot, you make a mistake with a celebrity, you make a mistake for an editorial, you might not get some jobs again.
Okay. So, like, ease up a little bit. And that's what I love about, honestly, I love about Yusuf and I love about Darius. Honestly, and Kendall, can't forget about you. Because Kendall, he'll let me know in a second, like, what you doing? Like, and he does it with love, but it's just like he will, and you can't be too sensitive, especially in the industry.
Mm,
It's not a tone to you, it's not an attitude towards you. We just in here to do our job and we got to do it correctly. So it's just like cut it. But when I tell you, if they're observant, so if they want to throw you in and they feel like you can handle it, and there's times I'm looking at them like, like, remember I'm the assistant, that's not what I'm doing, and we'll laugh about it, and they be like, you're on it, go ahead, jump head in first, and I'm just like, but I love that. I love that they do that because they see what I am capable of doing and when I'm nervous, like I'm like, oh, I don't want to do it. They be like, nope, go ahead. And it's just
mm,
like, you need that. But at other times, it's like, it's okay to step back, observe, learn. But I'll tell you, you can't observe and learn for long. They will throw you in there.
yeah, you
Hands.
got to be prepared.
The first time I met Yusuf, yeah, we was doing a cover magazine. And I'm just like, okay, I'm here, guys, but I'm gonna be over here, prepping the hair. He was like, get in there. And I was like, okay. Me? You want me? Oh, okay, no problem.
But it's also great to be surrounded by those people. First of all, that aren't going to be yes people. They're not going to be like, yeah, 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 you're fine. They're going to tell you when something's wrong. And then when they're ready to throw you in the deep end, be like, no, you've been learning for long enough now. You gotta do the thing as well as prepare for it. So
Right, right. That's exactly what it is. Think and swim? Let's see if you can swim.
yeah.
If you've been this whole time while you was assisting me, you should know exactly what you're doing right now. And it's like, you right. You right.
But I love that. That's like such a good energy to have, and it feels like, you've been through the ropes on both sides with the salon and with kind of doing all of the editorial work and work with celebrities. So between all of that, what are some of the biggest challenges you faced along the way?
The biggest challenge. I think the challenge for me personally, it comes into a personal round of a challenge. How do I balance my personal life with my children
Mm,
versus that's the main challenge for me. I don't really feel like challenges on set or challenges because you have to adapt to where you're at. So I don't feel like that's more so of a challenge, but that could just be my characteristic. Like I can adjust to a little stink vibe. I can adjust to a happy vibe. Like around I like I said, I don't take it personal. Like that person could be having a bad day. So that's not more so a challenge for me. The challenge for me is my personal, am I doing too much away from my girls? Um,
mm,
this is a good job, a good gig for me to take, but is it worth me being away for a certain period of time? Like
mm.
that's that I'm going to have. And I think I will be appreciated in the long run. I can't say yes to everything. because I have to say yes to my children. I don't want to be the hairstylist, the celebrity hairstylist that, yeah, she does good, but she ain't never with her kids.
Mm.
That's not what I want. I don't need for once a nanny to be raising my children. Or, I have a great support system, my mother, my father, my sisters, and I appreciate that. But it's just more so, mommy, I want to make sure I'm not absent.
Yeah, and that makes sense. I guess when you're making those decisions about that career path that you want to go down, there's all the ambitions, but there's also like sacrifice, right? And the biggest sacrifice when you're flying here and there, when you're doing 14-hour days on a shoot, is time. And it's like understanding that, before I say before, but when you're in it, it's saying, okay, how long do I want to do this part for?
Right.
So that I can still have that balance and have that life and be present for my family.
Right, right. It's like, it's a bittersweet because, everyone, you want to make money, you want
Mm.
to get your name out there, you want to do all that stuff, but it's like, what do you got to give up for all that as well? And my sake, I pray about it. So I ain't giving up nothing. I'm just going to learn how to balance, how to balance what's going to go on. And it's okay because even with the editorial and celebrity hair, it's often, and you do get called, but
Mm.
they have reasons too. So you just got to learn how to balance, like, okay, I'm going to grind out for April, May, June. And then when
Mm.
you can make that decision, like, all right, I need a moment. I need a me moment because if I break myself down, I'm not going to be good to nobody.
Yeah, that's so true. And especially when you've got other people relying on you. You've got, your family, you've got your kids, your husband, your parents. There's so many, and your clients as well, because when you work with clients for a long enough time, they become friends. So it's a lot of big decisions to make. And I think for all of the people who are considering pursuing that path of going down, like, that route of doing the celebrity hair, the big shoots, working on those magazines or even TV sets, it's just remembering that's an incredible dream to have. But remember that it will come with some compromise and just being a bit prepared for that.
Yeah, you have to be prepared and know what your boundaries are. I feel like you definitely have to know when you're going to say no. You can't say yes again to everything. So, what are you willing to give up? What are you willing to compromise? That's a personal preference in each person because, like I said, I have great team members. They could probably do a little bit more than me in time frame because they don't have little ones or their
Mm.
little already grown and they already did that. We're all in different placements of our lives. And that's why I said, again, my slogan, what competition? Because everyone is in different time frames of their lives. There's certain things that, okay, you want to go on tour and you might have to be out there for 6 months. That ain't going to be my job because
Mm.
I can go out for 6 months. Or if you are willing to work with me and say, okay, you could bring them like, and a few times, bring the children and, it has to fit for personally me. I can't just work for them. It has to work for me as well. And
Yeah.
you just got to your value, your worth. Like you can't just, yeah, I do it. And then you lose out.
Yeah. And that's like, I guess that's a learning curve. Everybody has to be prepared to say, okay, what are the things I want to try and negotiate? What are those conversations that I'm willing to have with the people who are running things? Do I say, can I, if it's 6 months, like, is there a way that it could be done with two people? If that's the thing, like, can it be co-worked so that you don't have to spend the whole 6 months? Like I said, can you bring your family? What are the things that conversations you can have to turn it into a job that could be right for you?
Exactly. And you won't know unless you ask. You know what I mean? Like some people are just so nervous to even have that conversation because they're gonna be like, well, if I question them or if I do this, then they're not gonna take me. I'm like, well, I got a mouth. I'm allowed to ask a question. I'm not making no set stones. Can I? Like, can this work? If it can, all you're gonna say is no. And I think, again, I think it's just a personal preference on who you are, because I'm not scared to hear no.
Mm-mm.
I like hearing no sometimes, because that's going to push me to be like, well, can you make it work? Or can you, it's okay to hear no, because you're going to probably a whole lot of yeses after that. Like, it's okay. And then you got some people who just don't want to hear the word no. And they're going to go to a whole panic attack, and, I don't know. But that's not me. So I'm going to ask questions and see if it could work for me.
Yeah, and sometimes no's are just there to tell you that's either not the right job or maybe they're not the right people for you to work with. And that's
Okay.
okay.
And yes, yes, I believe in that. Like, that wasn't the bridge I was supposed to cross. Or
Mhm.
even when it's salon, I say it all the time, not in a mean way, but I divorce clients. I will divorce you.
Yeah,
If me and you can't work out, and you're not understanding and balancing what I'm asking you, and you keep asking me to do stuff for you, that's fine, but it has to work both ways. And if you're not respecting that, divorce.
yeah. You know what? That's so funny you say that. I saw a stylist share on Instagram, like basically a rundown of what the message that she sends to clients when she divorces them. She's like, for anybody who struggles to go through this process, here's my template. Thank me later. And so when you're going through that, but that it's a hard thing to do, because you're like, it's not that I don't like you, it's just that this isn't working. How do you divorce a client? Because that's a hard process to go through.
Hard for whom? That's the question. Because it's not hard for me. Once I say I'm divorcing you, I kind of got it in my head, and that's what's gonna happen. But no, so honestly, I am a person. I communicate. I
Mm.
communicate. That's Look. The first time something happens that I'm not in agreement with, I'm gonna have a conversation with you, because I don't. You may not even know that you did something that
Hmm.
offended or didn't work in my lineup or anything. So I'm not gonna just, like, off the rip, all right, yeah, don't come here back here no more. Like, I'm not gonna do that. I'm just like, hey, listen, blah blah blah. This didn't work out. What's going on? Is everything okay? Because it
Yeah.
might not be in nature originally. So I'm gonna ask you, is everything okay? Everything going good? You want to talk about it? After that, and I tell you, address the situation. And if you're still doing it, then it's like, hey, you know what? Um, this is not working between us, because you're affecting my business, and you're affecting my action of my business. So therefore, you know, we're not going to be able, or if it's really bad, I'm like, we won't be able to work again with each other. Or
Mm.
it's like a timeout moment, like, hey, let's revisit this in a few months and see if this can work out again with each other. I have no problem doing that. And thank God I haven't had anyone I had to divorce. I had to put people on timeout, but not really divorce.
I'm glad that you haven't had to do that, because I've read some. It's really interesting when you read these things from stylist perspectives, because I think we hear a lot about customers having these bad experiences with stylists, which definitely happens. We've all been there. I think everyone's had their kind of moment that scarred them. But there's there's also the flip side, when stylists have really bad experiences with customers and it leads to them wanting to divorce them, right? And again, it was the same post. There were these stylists commenting, and there was one woman who was like, I blocked this woman from my booking tool and she booked an appointment with a different email. Like, she found a way.
That happened. Oh my goodness. Yeah, that actually happened to me too. They was calling me off of different numbers. And I was just like, no, they didn't. Cause you start to learn the number, and you're like, okay, may not answer that right now. But she called off a different number, and she was like, did you not get my message? I was like, oh, divorce. Yeah, you done. I lied. I said I divorced. Yeah, that was when I did divorce, because you was doing a little bit too much.
Yeah. Yeah, it's
Respectfully.
hard.
Respectfully. Let me add that in there.
No, but it's fair. And I feel that when, like you said, you're running a business, you're dealing with lots of people, it's fair for you to say, actually, we need to part ways, because it's not productive for either of us.
Yeah, because I don't know what it is. but I feel like people don't take a person who's a hairstylist serious. When I say they don't take them serious, it's like you not calling your doctor at 12:30 at night,
Mm-hmm.
talking about I need to get a prescription or whatever. Like, I mean, yeah, you got the portals nowadays. I'm talking about you ain't calling them directly on they
Mm-hmm.
set, requesting all this stuff. Now, don't get me wrong. I know people work night shifts and the time frames and whatever the case may be. And if you do leave me a voice message or a text message and you're just saying, hey, I worked late, sorry, I just wanted to put this out there for you when you get a chance.
Yeah.
That you correct. Like I have no problem with that. It's the ones who ask their question late at night, I don't answer, or it's my day off, and then gonna send another message, dot 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 question mark. Like I've seen it, but I did put on my website and I did put on my Instagram. I did put on the flyer. And I let you know that I'm off on these days, or the time frames, or just respectful, like 12:30 midnight.
Yeah. And people have lives. People have lives. Things happen as well. Like nobody knows. There can be emergencies. Anything could have happened that could have taken you away from your work.
Exactly. And I feel like they also like, oh, well, you should have said something. I personally don't got to tell you about my personal stuff, or I have to let you know that that's not what I have to do. If I sit there and say, okay, I will contact you, and my clients, my real diehard clients, know I will get in contact with you. I really will. You can hear from me. Literally, I'm probably on set where I can't have my phone out, or I'm with the
Mm,
girl, or I'm a hairstylist. I need my hands. How am I be and answering you if I got a relaxer in somebody's head? Like it's not the math is not mathing. Like be like make it make sense. So like again, you have those who understand,
mhm.
and you have those that you have to put on timeout or divorce because they just don't understand. They think okay, yeah, they think that time is just on their time. And I
Yeah.
always your lack of planning is not my emergency. I'm appointment based only in the shop. So therefore, you can't call me the day of talking about can I come in 3 hours. That's not making an appointment. I need to know ahead of time.
Mhm. No,
Hmm.
that is true, and you have every right to do that. So no, thank you for sharing that. That's both like funny to hear, but also good to hear that when people set those boundaries, that you're the one that will stand firm and stick to them. But just a couple of questions. So one, this is like a community-wide question that we hear all the time. But one of the biggest challenges that we hear, especially women, ask is like, how do we choose the right products for our hair? Um, so it would be good to know, are there any like staple brands that you have in your cupboards or in your salon that you would recommend people check out because they just do good products?
Okay, so this one is a tricky one
Mm-hmm.
because, and there might be other stylists who agree or disagree with me. Hey, everyone has their different preference. Me personally, I don't have a set one, right? Like I do. Okay, so in my shop, I use a shampoo line, and that's K18. I do love it because that is a brand that I've seen personally that works for all texture. It's not only just one texture. You know how some brands, oh, this is for us. This is for our kind. And technically, I get why they say that, but at the same time, hair is hair. So it should be a product that could work for every type of hair because it's the same cuticle, it's a molecule. You get the same thing. Yes, it's different patterns and curls. So if you want to go deeper and pick a product for that, because your hair is curly, straight, fine, coarse, that's fine. But overall, so when I shampoo, I use K18, their mask, their conditioner. I do like that. I do like that brand. Um, But when it comes down to at home, to telling people to pick one, you have to do what's best for your hair. Because I be in the salon and I can use, let's say I'm braiding. I could braid up someone's hair and use a product. But if I try to use that same exact product on somebody else and doing just the same style as the braid, doesn't mean it's going to come out the same for that next person. So for me, I feel like I will be fraudulent to say, oh, this is the brand that you should use. How? It works for you, but it may not work for you. So you get what I'm saying? Like, you have to test it out on yourself. You have to test it out for your stylist. They have to learn your hair. That's why it's very important to try to stick to your stylist. Because if you have so many people in your head, we don't know what you use. We don't know the outcome. And usually the outcome of the hair is not right then and there. It happens time at a time. So if you came to me and then went to Sally down the street 3 weeks later, I won't even know if they had a bad reaction. I can't, if you had somebody else with their hair, either the product was a bad reaction or that stylist did something that she wasn't supposed to do. I don't know. I cannot decipher that. So if you don't have a steady stylist, they're not going to be able to learn and help you with the products that you need. But for me, it's like I don't have a set. Maybe somebody will come out with something. I don't know. Right now, I don't have a set one because everyone is different with their hair. And one thing I don't really believe in hard is the 4Cs and all that, the titles of the names of the title of the hair, because everyone knows you could be 4C right here, and then a whole 3C, right? You get what I'm saying? Like it.
Yeah.
So you're gonna tell me I can only use this shampoo right here, but I can't use this shampoo right here?
Yeah. There's like people could have two or three different, like if you want to call them hair types, they could have two or three different types in their hair and not know.
You get what I'm saying? I feel like that came just recently. The charting of hair came recently. This is something that's newer in the industry and of the hair industry. So I don't pinpoint that because it can always change. It's in the next 10 years, there'll be another chart.
It'll be the new thing that everyone's referencing, but I totally agree that, people have to. I think it comes back to what you said at the very beginning, which is build that relationship with a stylist that's knowledgeable, because they'll help you to figure it out. They'll help you to say, okay, maybe you should try this type of product on your hair. And then at least that narrows the focus down and you can go and look for different products that fall under that type. If they're like, okay, your hair's really dry, you need to find like a conditioner that you can put in it every now and then, then you're like, okay, cool, I need a conditioner. I need a better conditioner. Let me go look for those.
I might need a more moisturizing. I might need more oils. It really also depends. And like I said before, it's kind of hard. Everyone lives in different areas. The Poconos, my water is hard. It has a whole lot of minerals in the water. So I have to do over here might be different from when I go to New York with the clients. And New York with the clients, their water is different from our water. Like that of where you live, your climate, everything. So again, I will be lying to sit there and say a direct one. Now I can give you good names, Carol's daughter, it's a 10. I could give different things, but you have to now try it to see if that works for you. I can't just sit there and say, here it goes. This is the one. This is the one. Because it may not be the one for you. Like, it really may not, because of where you live. It may not. It might hit me well. It might do well for me. And then it might make you look like a porcupine. I don't know. I won't know until like you really try,
No, that's really, really true. But I agree with you. Like you have to be prepared to figure it out, but also get that guidance from people that know better and they can help you figure it out. So it's a less, I think right now it's a really painful process for people. So it's like, how do you take the pain away from it? And I think taking the pain away starts from like working with a really good stylist.
That's all it is. Like, you go to a stylist, now it's different. You come to me and we have a consultation and I'm touching your hair and see, I'm like, okay, this is what is missing, this is what you need. Then that's a personal concoction that we're putting together for you versus, hey, Sadja, you're online with me. Hey, Sadja, what should I do with my hair?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, from what I can tell, like, I can't touch you. Like, you know what I'm saying? I can't, what is missing. And then I could have gave you the wrong stuff because I'm not physically in your hair to see what's really going on. And, to tell the truth, customers don't tell you the truth with their hair. They don't. I like, I'm gonna have a consultation. When's the last time you dyed your hair? Or when's the last time you relaxed your hair? Oh, it was so long ago. It has to be like 3 years ago. Or it's like, okay. And then we do a test strip and we look at it. It looks like you just colored it last week. Like,
Yeah.
do you understand, if you're lying to me, your outcome of your hair is going to be chopped and screwed. Like, you gotta really tell the truth. Just like if you go to the doctors, that's can't lie, or you shouldn't lie to. You gotta tell the doctor what you're really doing, and because they're not gonna be able to assist you or help you the correct way because you're telling me you do the gym 10 times a day, and then you really sitting on the couch. You know what I'm saying? Like, why I can't breathe? I don't know. Like,
Yeah, an important one for all of the customers listening, please tell your stylist the truth. Even if it hurts, even if you're like, I feel a little bit of shame about this, they won't judge you, just tell them.
Tell the truth so we can make the correct precaution for you. Like, okay, you're gonna need this. You're gonna need more of this part, and like, okay, we can help you walk through. But if not, you're just making a whole mess.
Yeah, and nobody wants that. No one wants that at all. But I
No.
will wrap up with our last question, which I love this one because, I think you've given us so much in this past hour. And what I want to know is like, what's next for you? I can imagine there are so many projects that you've been involved in so far. What's the big thing on the agenda for Sadja?
Oh, okay. So what's next for me that I am hitting the atmosphere and praying for? I really do want to work more with brands, getting more information and education out there pertaining to hair. Um, as well, I'm in the midst of trying to broaden my shop, meaning different location, pop-up shops. I want to do pop-up shops because I'm not able to tend to everyone all the time, but I want people to be able to get touched by. So if I
Mm,
pop-up shops, you get to have the moments, you get to have the one-on-one talks with me. That's something I really want to get into more. And the last one, the biggest thing for me is mentoring. I want to do more
wow.
mentoring. I do go to schools. I speak at Empire, and I go back to MCTI, the school I graduated, and I talk to the girls um, about everything. But I want to do more of that because I feel like we as overall have to give more education and knowledge and encourage do what they want to do when it comes down to their careers and their future, and just show an example that you can do it. Like,
Mhm.
you can see things on social media or TV, and it's like, oh wow, I want to be that person. I want to be in that light. But then the question is, how do you do it? So for me, it's like, I want to give back and I want to do more mentoring and I want to lead step by step. This is how I did it and this is how you can do it. And put your own flair to it, but these are the key things that you need. So that is very, very important. I want to do more of mentoring and continuing education for them to help them out.
Yeah, and I feel like that's a big thing that's needed anyway. And so the stylists are better equipped to go and help their customers. And then, this kind of constant story, or these stories that we keep hearing about these bad experiences, they slowly start to disappear when we can put more education out there and support each other more, and lean on the people who have gone before us, so that our path is clearer. And I feel like stylists deserve to have that, and it's people like you that will help them.
Yeah, that is my end goal. That's my end goal, to be able to travel, talk to them hands-on. Again, you could listen to something, but key thing is hands-on. You need to have that person right there and talk to you. Just like how you and I having a conversation. That's the best way of learning. Hands-on and having that open communication on what's going on. And everything is not a secret. I feel like we should keep to ourselves. We're going to get older. So when we get older, aren't we going to have the next generation, the younger ones, to sit there and take over? Let's show them.
Yeah, that's what we need. We need that handing of knowledge down. We need that support that we give each other, because ultimately, if we can't do it for each other, and sometimes the industry can be hard, if we can't do that for each other, then how can we expect other people to open the doors for us as well?
Exactly.
So no, I love that. So thank you. I can't believe an hour has gone by this quickly. It feels like it's been so amazing hearing everything that you've had to share. I say this at the end of my calls, especially with stylists, but thank you for everything that you shared, all the knowledge that you've imparted for both stylists and customers that are listening. Thank you for, paving the way for other people that are going to come up behind you in the same way that your mentor did for you. And yeah, we just really appreciate the time and energy that you've put into this conversation today.
Thank you, Jade. I really appreciate you having me on here to have that platform to talk to everyone about what's going on, even about myself. Like this, I think what you're doing is a beautiful thing to help outreach other people, to put them on a platform, to have a voice, because sometimes it's very hard to do that ourselves. We can't do a lot of stuff. So for the fact that you're setting that up for people and stylists, I think it's a beautiful thing, and I know it's gonna go far. Keep going, girl.
No, thank you so much. And another big thank you to everyone who's listening. So first of all, that's an hour of your time. So we're super, super happy that you spent it with us and took it all the way to the end. What I'll do is also going to share links to Sadja on social media, her website, her product line, her salon, so that you can keep an eye on what she's doing as well. So you see that in the written version. And if you really enjoyed this conversation, don't forget to subscribe, don't forget to follow, all of that good stuff, and share with other people who you think can really benefit from hearing everything that you've heard today. So a big thank you to all of you, and we will see you on the next episode.
Thank you. Bye.